Untitled, the Atari 8-bit podcast.
That was my first work experience. I really enjoyed it. We were doing like 60, 70 hours a week.
This is an interview episode of Antic, the Atari 8-bit podcast. I'm Kevin Savitz. David Johnson co-created the Atari 400, 800, 5200 version of Popeye, which was released by Parker Brothers. This interview took place on November 9th, 2015.
It was 1980, I think, but late summer. But I was working for a company named Western Technologies. It was as it was like a co-op student. I was going to school at FIT, getting an engineering degree, and worked with a team. It was two of us that put it together, and they were like a contractor to Parker Brothers. So we did it for the 400, 800, and 5200.
So this company was called Western Technologies?
Correct.
Right. So let's go back before then. How did you learn to program the Atari machines? Did you have other computer experience? Kind of
studying.
Get me there.
Yeah, I had some assembly in school, and then it was just learn on the go. Really, we went in. We had some people who were really familiar with 6502, and we're doing the Commodore too, and then I think that was the other one. So two different platforms.
So this Western Technology Companies was basically outsourced by Parker Brothers to create some games?
Yeah.
Do you know what other games they created?
Qbert they were working on, and let's see what else was coming. Dig Dug, and I think it was like right at the time when Electronic Arts was getting going, so there was some cross communication with them.
All right. So how did you get sucked into this? Where did you?
It was I was at school, and I saw this offer because they were looking for video game. I'd never done it before, so they were looking for video game programmers, and if you had this background, and I was doing quite a bit of CS stuff in school, and I said, yeah, that sounds really cool. So I just called them up, and they hired me.
And so when you got there, what they just like? What did they tell you to do? I mean, first day, what were you?
Basically, here's they had. I think we were doing originally on a 400, and here's and they had the drive, that crazy drive and everything that you could daisy chain them all together, and here's a stub, to start working on. And one of the guys he's quite a bit, maybe like 3 months into developing Qbert, so. And they had one of the arcade machines in the office, and we were basically back engineering from the arcade machine.
Wow. So was it like, did they give you any source code of their arcade game, or was it just like just play the game and figure it out?
But no, so we couldn't get the source code at all. So it was just,
wow.
And it was different because there was you had to do all kinds of crazy tricks to get 16 colors. I think it would be standardly 4 colors, so you had to do like if I remember correctly, there was horizontal blank routines that were interrupts, and you switch the color registers at the appropriate time to get switch the available colors.
So did you work on Qbert at all, or go straight to work on Popeye?
No, straight to work on Popeye. And I did all the my first job was laying out all the backgrounds, and we had to do it like by character mapping. So it was like creating a would be a right word for it, like a grid of the entire screen, and then building out different characters. So for that background, so all hex. So it's okay. Let's convert this by hand.
Yeah. Yikes.
Yep.
So you did the computer version and the 5200 version?
It was the 400, 800, and then we did the conversion to the 5200.
That's interesting. Most of the programmers I talked to at Atari did the 5200 versions first, and so you guys did it backwards.
It wasn't out. It's not out yet.
Oh,
It had just come out during our sojourn there.
how long did the project take you?
It was 6 months.
Yeah,
6 months.
nice. And did you get any feedback from Parker Brothers or the Popeye people or anything, or was it just
They
working
came.
in your
They
own
came in. They were doing all the quality stuff, and They came in like it was around the 4 month period. We had to negotiate with them because the original was going to be 8K cartridge, and we really had to fight to get 16K. We got it eventually, but because there were 3 screens to it.
Right.
And so we got the first screen inside the 8K, but it was difficult to get the other 2.
Nice. What can you remember about the process? I mean, just tell me a story about.
Yeah, it was kind of it was really it was actually the first big project. You do programs in school, et cetera, and this was like we would print it out. They had a big line printer. It was I don't know what 30. You remember those where they have it's like green and white. The big sheet of paper.
Mm-hmm.
It was a big printer, and we would run printouts like twice a week or something, but they would like the Kubert printout was easily like 2 inches 2 inches thick. And that because I was used to like maybe having 3 or 4 pages on a program. I said, this is a totally different scale here. So it was a little bit intimidating from that standpoint, but as we got into it, it grew really pretty quickly after getting over the original intimidation.
Yeah, you guys did some. Were you the only programmer, or was it a team? Or 2?
It was 2 of us, and it was she was an Asian girl, really nice, Susan, I think her name was. But, yeah, so 2 of us. We were in it was kind of standard, industrial area, and then broken. The office was broken into little offices, and we were together, so we worked together.
So how did you and Susan break up the work? I mean, one of you did graphics, one sound, or I don't know.
Yeah, it was. She worked on all the sprites, so she did all the all the artwork and the animation for the sprites, and then I helped with like it was basically the layout of the backgrounds, and then like some of the game logic and all that stuff. So we kind of tied it all together pretty nicely. So.
I noticed you guys did some creative things with the reuse of the player missiles. Like Olive is up there, and then you reuse that for Popeye later, and you
right.
kind of have a lot going on the screen.
Yeah, exactly. We're always it's always the memory, the being able to conserve memory as much as possible, doing things as efficiently as possible is really important.
Right. So do you remember any feedback from Parker Brothers about things they needed changed or didn't like, or I don't know?
Yeah, I mean, it was graphic. A lot of it was the art. There was a guy who came in. I remember he was like he worked with like ambulance kind of thing, whatever they call it, ET or something. But he was also the artist, so he would lay everything out, and then we would work together and get the layout done. And they would come in with that, with the color choices and just some of the geometry, And it was really pretty limited, as you know. So to get anything to look really good, and it was the resolution on the arcade game was higher, obviously. So we had to bring it down a bit. So that made it challenging. So they would come in, and it was they were excited about our progress, because we were just college students at the time, so it wasn't like we were from a big stable of great video game programmers. Right?
Sure. So how many people were working at this Western Technologies place?
I think it's about 10.
Huh. Interesting. I haven't heard of this place. I need to kind of see if I can find.
Yeah, it's Palm Bay, Florida.
All right, so you finished Popeye, and then what?
Let's see. I got a computer engineering degree, electrical engineering degree. And then, much to my parents' duress, I became a musician for about 5 years in Florida, which was great. Actually, really enjoyed it.
What do you play?
Piano.
Thanks.
And I was in it was like a couple different bands, but I was in a reggae band of all things. So playing on the beach. So, and then got back into the engineering thing. I worked for I live out in Florida. I live out in California now, and so worked for it was a cosmetics company doing IT, and then an AI company in Austin, Texas, and now I work for it's a medical robotics company doing programming. So it's pretty interesting.
So why did you just do the one game? I mean, after you finished Popeye, did you quit the job, or?
I was more into like MIDI and all the MIDI stuff. So I wrote a MIDI sequencer as well, kind of looking at getting into that and trying to be entrepreneurial and start a little company. We were successful at building a nice sequencer, but it didn't have the proper funding. I look back on it and it's like I approached it totally too bare bones.
Was this for the Atari ST or just standalone hardware, or?
It was I was doing it. Wow, it was the ST, right? That was the one that kind of it was trying to compete with the Mac.
Yes. Yeah.
So yeah, that was I was diving into that and at the same time playing music. And the music kind of took over because it was a little bit more exciting.
Yeah. Cool. So did this ST thing, did it become a product, or was it just?
No. We just demoed it out around. So. Yeah, well, I used to take the ST on and we were doing like 7 gigs a week, and I would take the ST on the gig, and I'd have like a sampler was one of the first samplers that came out, Prophet something, and I used to bring the Atari ST on the gig, and I had that all sequenced up to play along with what we were playing. So
nice.
It was pretty good. It was really a nice system.
Cool.
But yeah, so the Popeye it was really fun, and really that was my first work experience. I really enjoyed it. We were doing like 60, 70 hours a week. So
wow.
It was really intense. Yeah.
And did you get royalty on this, or was it just
no,
flat?
Just flat. Yeah.
Just like you're getting paid for any other job.
Right. Have you done any video game programming?
Not in. I've dabbled in little stuff in BASIC and Action. I've just played tiny bit with a 6502 assembly, but not really.
Okay.
Not in any significant way.
Gotcha.
Do you remember any of the names of the people who ran Western Technologies?
I think the main guy, Don Herndon. I think that was his name.
Herndon. Herndon, something like that?
Something like that, yeah.
What haven't I asked you about creating Popeye that I should have?
I don't know. I think that's pretty much that. It's quite a ways back. It's probably about all I remember about it.
Right. Yeah. So, you might want to be interested to know that there's a team of Atari people who are currently updating the game, the Popeye game. They're calling it Popeye Arcade. I don't know if they're working from your code base or if they went from scratch, but basically it looks, I'm really not sure. But basically they're updating it with, making the graphics a little better, the sound a little better. The people complain that some of the collision detection isn't perfect, so they're making it better.
Yeah.
So yeah, people are
cool.
Still having fun with Popeye.
Interesting. Wow, that's very cool.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
Oh, you're welcome.
If you enjoyed these interviews and would like to contribute something, I encourage you instead to donate to one of our favorite organizations, the Internet Archive, at archive.org. The Internet Archive is a nonprofit digital library with the stated mission of universal access to all knowledge. They've done incredible things to preserve computer history, including hosting thousands of programs in an in-browser Atari emulator, creating the Wayback Machine, and offering full-page scans of countless Atari computer books and magazines. Make your tax-deductible contribution at archive.org/donate.